Okay, what I want to look at now is a proper way of spraying a finish. And what we're going to do, I often get asked, does it matter if you start at the top or the bottom? Not really. But what you want to do is you always, when you start spraying, you want to pull the trigger off of the piece, come across, release the trigger, pass the piece, drop down, half lap, come back, and just keep repeating. And it doesn't matter if you're doing it vertical or if you're doing it horizontal. Pattern on the gun. All right, a little too much pressure. Let's tone this thing down here, reduce the overspray. All right. Plenty of pattern here. Again, I'm going to do about a 6-6, meaning 6 inches away. I release the trigger, half up, halfway up. There it is again. Now I often get asked, what about the first pass? A lot of times what I'll do is just kind of hit that, because the bottom here, this bottom down here didn't get but a half hit. But it's usually enough comes down to handle that. But you can see we're getting an even coating. What you don't want to do is you want to stay fixed on this and keep the gun parallel to the surface. This is not the way to spray. If I do this, you can see what happens. I'm getting very heavy in the center, very light on the ends. I'm not going to have an even coating. Again, the half lap, release the trigger, release the trigger, release the trigger, and you've got an even coating. Now that's how you apply a finish. If on the other hand, you're spraying a colorant, such as a stain or a dye, this gets to be very, very difficult, because you can get zebra stripes in it very easy. And the half lap, which is the way to apply the finish, can often cause this unless you're very, very proficient at it. Here's the way to handle it. We're going to do what's called a crosshatch spray. We've got this big black piece of cardboard here. I've got my Apollo, and I'm just going to have to turn my back to you and let you watch me. I want to interject something here. I've widened the pattern a little bit, and I'm going to back off a little bit. This is where I'm going to go to that kind of 8-inch fan, 8 inches away. But here's the key. What I'm going to do is when I make a pass here, I'm not going to half lap it. I'm going to come down and do a full pattern. Then I'm going to turn around and go the other way. So what I'm actually going to do is put a light coat one way, then the other way. It's called cross-hatching. You know, back in the auto body days when we were spraying a lot of metallic finishes, which they're everywhere today, and metal flake and all of this, to get it all laid, all that metallic and metal flakes laid out really well, it was difficult. If you didn't know what you were doing, so you were kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is you're kind of dusting it on, misting it on, but you want it broke up because you want it broke up well. Now, again, if you're doing a paint or something, you spray it just like a finish because it's a solid coating. But if you're spraying a dye or stain, it's transparent, so it's real easy, not to get your color correct. The other thing that it does is it allows you to, quote, sneak up on that color. Let's take a look. Now while you're looking at this, you're going to see what's called a little mottled look. And that means that's where you're seeing a little bit of the black come through. That's just simply because we don't have enough material in there. But if this were a dye or stain, it's going to be absorbing in whatever. But we've got an even coating. Now that said, when we get into looking at blotch control and controlling blotch, something we're going to find. This can help immensely. Because one of the things, again, with a blotch is it's the soft grain in the wood absorbing more material than the hard grain. But the beauty of a spraying a surface is it can't absorb any more than I get it. If this were a dye or stain, this is exactly where I would stop and let it dry. Now I want to re-interject something again. If you're using a stain, with a dye you can put as many coats on as you want. With a stain, you know, this would be considered one coat because I put it on very, very light. Just went in multiple directions. If I were using, so I could do this one more time. That's about as far as I want to go. And again, that has to do with a stain, the binder's in it. It doesn't have enough binder that if we build it up thick, we could have an adhesion issue. But again, what this is doing, you know, it allows us to get a nice even coat. That's about it on this. Again, remember, don't overlap it. Cross hatch it, mist it on. I got to paint this black so I can come back and do some more spraying. I'm going to throw the fan on, just let the camera run. I'm going to grab a gravity fed, make it black.